everyone? Andrew here, bringing you another video. And I'm back! It's been like a month or so that I've been gone, and with good reason. I've been moving from one place to another, but I have returned, and I'm going to get back on a regular schedule with videos because one is I'm not moving, and two, I have internet access that doesn't suck, or at least so far it hasn't sucked. Could change. But with that said, that's the main reason why I haven't been able to do videos is I've been moving. Right now I'm upstairs in my Fortress of Solitude, and the house that we moved in is like a three-story house, first floor, second floor, top floor, and then there's a basement. The top floor used to be a music room, and it's massive, and it's kind of an attic too, and there's a secondary room that's attached to it. So I decided to take the top room to myself, and I can't really give you guys a full view, but as you can see, I'm setting myself up pretty well here. There's still a lot to be done. And that's not even a good detailed panoramic view that I gave you. I will go in detail with an actual video. I tried to with my phone, but the file was too large, and I tried to with my camera on my computer, and the lighting was just too horrible. So I'm just gonna wait till a nice weekend when I have good lighting and I don't have to worry about that shit, because by the time I get home from work, it's already dark out. Things about being a manager, sometimes you have to stay late. With that said, I decided to get back in the swing of things. I could do a video based off the comic load that I had for this week, but I'm going to save that for next week. I'm going to do a double up, had to throw it in there, video of comic loads. So from this current week and then the coming week. So past comic load and the future comic load, I'm just going to blend into one. Just do that video then. With that said, I'm going to do something a little different. Someone online did a video that I just thought was quite interesting. I forget who the YouTuber was, so I can't really give credit to them, but they did a video series called Unpopular Video Game Opinions. If you remember who it is, please let me know, because I'm trying to find that channel. And basically, what it is they would sit down and give opinions on video games that people don't necessarily agree with, which I thought was fascinating. I mean, there's a lot of opinions that I have on comic books that people just don't agree with. The majority of people just don't agree with. So I thought, to get back in the swing of things, get back to doing regular videos, doing things other than just comic loads, how would I just do a unpopular comic book opinion video? So the basic gist and rules of this is that I'm going to give you guys opinions that I have in comic books that may not necessarily be popular. Some comic book opinions that might rub people the wrong way, that go against the grain. And then I'll give a brief description why. And in addition, in turn, I want you guys to give your unpopular comic book opinions, things that people don't necessarily agree with that you like. Now, we're all going to be nice in this video. Don't be bashing on anyone when they give their unpopular comic book opinion, and don't bash with your unpopular comic book opinion. So, for example, if someone says that they don't like the current run of Superman Unchained, and that they're the only ones that don't bash on them and say, well, geez, how could you not love that run? It's an unpopular opinion. That's the whole point. At the same time, if you have an opinion saying that I don't know, I hate the current run of Gal Simone's Red Sonja. They're so stupid. Everyone that reads it, they don't have any taste. I won't accept that. That's not good. Be nice, everyone. We're under a trust tree here. The Great Deku Trust Tree. Let's all be nice to everyone. So this is all for fun, and I want you guys to share your unpopular opinions. So I'm going to start things off. These are all opinions that at least I think are unpopular that I have, and I'm going to flat out give them to you guys. So number one, Jason Todd is arguably one of the best people to ever have the title of Robin, and bringing him back was one of the best decisions DC ever made. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that don't like Jason Todd, and I don't know why. I think Jason Todd was just ahead of his time, and being that bad boy Robin wasn't quite in there yet. In addition to that, he was the guy after Dick Grayson. Being the guy after Dick Grayson is never a good thing. But with Jason Todd returning to the DC Universe back in 2003, it's one of the best moves that they could have made, because Jason Todd is arguably one of the most interesting Robins to ever take up another mantle. Being Red Hood makes him a great anti-hero, and while he also is a great villain too, he really has a lot of layers to him. And Red Hood and the Outlaws may have started off rocky, but for the most part, it has been a fun ride from, well, here to Tokyo. and back. Jason Todd, one of the best Robins that you ever meet. Wally West, in my opinion, is not the best Flash, and I'm glad he's no longer the Flash. Ooh, this is one people are not going to like. Don't get me wrong, I like Wally West, and I like everything he did stepping out of the shadow of Barry Allen, but that's basically all he did. There's nothing really too big that Wally West did different from Barry Allen. They were both pretty nice guys. Both had girlfriends that had pretty similar professions. Both of them had, well, the same accent that caused the same powers. Wally West may have had a slightly different personality, but really, he was no better than Barry. And if anything, I could argue Barry is even better because Barry is the goody two shoes, the DC universe. He's even more Boy Scouty than Superman. And in addition to that, that makes a cool character for the DCU. I think it's great that they're trying something different with Wally and making him step outside the comfort zone. Again, he's stepping out of his own shadow now and becoming something completely different. And I much prefer Barry Allen to Wally West. But again, that's just my opinion. Um, too many X Men teams. Too many X Men teams. One of the reasons why I can't get into a solid X Men title that's not a solo title is because there's like 12 different X Men teams. There's X Men, there's Uncanny X Men, there's Wolverine the X Men, there's X Men Legacy, there's Astonishing X Men, all these different X Men teams, and not all of them are right now, but there's basically Cyclops' team, Wolverine's team with the kids, this Storm's team that she has going on, the team that's working with the Avengers, and because there's so many teams, there's no consistency. In addition to that, I don't know what the official X-Men team is. I mean, they should have just one team, whereas Cyclops, Storm, Wolverine, Colossus, uh, Kitty Pryde, Beast, throw in there a couple more staples, have that be the X-Men team. There's nothing wrong with having different X-Men teams, but seeing that there's so many crossovers, who exactly are the X-Men? It's a little confusing and I don't like it. Oh, don't even forget about the X-Men team from the past. Too many X-Men teams. Jean Grey and Gwen Stacy should come back to the Marvel U. Yeah, this is one that I was actually adamant against, but have flip-flopped on. I think Gwen Stacy and Jean Grey should both be back and brought back to life. Gwen Stacy because I think she is a great character and love interest to Peter Parker, arguably better than Mary Jane, and Jean Grey because I would like to see her start dating the bad boy Cyclops because she's always was into the bad boys and now Cyclops is. Be kind of an interesting thing. Spider-Man's costume is classic, but it sucks. Don't get me wrong, Spider-Man's costume is a classic Silver Age costume. It stands out, it pops, it has colorful flashiness to it, but at the same time, it's so messy and visually assaulting. I think it's the webbing and the fact that red and blue are hard colors to pull together if it's not, well, not handled right. And in addition to that, he has like a thing go down and what looks like a belt, but it's not a belt, and then the random red spider on the back, and it just doesn't look right. Don't get me wrong, there's some good Spider-Man suits out there. The Superior Spider-Man suit was pretty cool, and I love the Black Symbiote one. But the current one, the classic one, it just doesn't work for me. Moving on. Dynamite Comics. I love them, but they need a consistent universe. I do think Dynamite Comics should have their own standalone little micro universes, like the Red Sonja universe or the Warlords of Mars universe, but they're really dropping the ball with the opportunity to make a noir universe with like Miss Fury, Green Hornet, The Shadow, Doc Savage, all those characters and have them be set in the same universe. Not all the characters have to be in that universe. Like I said, Red Sonja, Vampirella, Warlords of Mars with John Carter and Deja Thoris. They can be all there separate micro universes, but they really should have one consistent universe. I think it would really help push sales. I liked Superboy Prime. Yeah, that's a big one. When Superboy Prime is done right, I don't hate him. I actually enjoy him. I thought he was fun in Infinite Crisis, kind of that guy that went down the dark path, and he has some stupid, silly, angsty one-liners. And Superboy Prime is also kind of a nice little nod towards the angsty comic book fan. Because as comic book fans, we can be a little angsty, we can be a little bitchy, we can be a little moany. Don't try to get out of it. We can. It is a problem that we all have. And Superboy Prime kind of exemplifies that. And I kind of like that. Don't get me wrong. There's been some terrible portrayals of Superboy Prime, some terrible comics that had him come out. But for the most part, I enjoy Superboy Prime, and I wouldn't mind seeing him come back and be all bitchy again and kill people, kill them to death. I don't care that Amanda Waller is thin. Yeah, this is an interesting one. A lot of people prefer overweight Waller or huskier Amanda Waller or more to love Amanda Waller, whatever term you want to use, as opposed to the thin one. I don't care. As long as she's Amanda Waller and being an absolute conniving, secretive, shady person, that's all that matters to me. I'm happy that DC's TV universe is not connected to his movie universe. Yeah, this is something that people were actually upset about. People wanted the Green Arrow and Flash from the TV universe to be part of the Justice League movie. I'm happy that they're not. Why? Because it gives them more freedom to do whatever they want. If you're connected to the movie universe, you kind of have to follow them. In addition to that, the great thing about movies is that the characters can be replaced with new actors, and theory never aged. Look at James Bond. They've really only had one reboot. It's been the same character, just different actors. But if you start seeing actors start to get flushed out and change a lot in the movies, it never aged, but then the characters in the TV shows age, it's kind of awkward. But on a whole, I'm glad that the DC TV universe is not part of the DC movie universe. Gives more freedom, gives more creative leverage, and things don't have to match up. And it's kind of cool that way. Hal Jordan is the best Green Lantern. Yes, he is. Don't get me wrong. I love Jon Stewart, Kyle Rayner, Guy Gardner, Simon Baz. They all have a special place in my heart. Probably Jon Stewart more than the other ones. But Hal Jordan is without a doubt the best Green Lantern. He has the most discernible personality. He has the most unique personality. And in addition to that, he tends to be the one that sells the most books. A lot of people love Jon Stewart, and the main reason is because he was on the Justice League cartoon show. He's a great character, but at the same time, I feel as though Hal Jordan's a better character. A lot of people like Kyle Rayner, but one of the reasons is because he was a Green Lantern that they grew up with in the 90s. If you strip away everything, Kyle Rayner is not as interesting a character as Hal Jordan. Again, this is all my opinion. You could disagree. I still love Jon Stewart. I still love Kyle Rayner. Who doesn't love Guy Gardner? But I feel as though they're better outside the Green Lantern universe uniform, and they were wearing different ones. I like that Kyle's a White Lantern. I like that Guy's a Red Lantern, and I wouldn't mind if Jon Stewart became an Indigo Lantern or something like that, just to mix things up. But there's no reason to because he didn't commit any atrocities. Fact of the matter remains is Hal Jordan to me is the best Green Lantern ball. Moving on, I like Nightcrawler, but I think he's overrated. That's plain, flat, and simple. I think he's a cool character and a cool cat, but I think he's kind of overrated. Moving on, uh, Dark Knight Returns was a great comic, but I don't think it's as good as everyone thinks it is. Dark Knight Returns is one of those things where it was great in the time that you grew up with, but on a whole, I don't think it's quite as good as everyone puts on that pedestal. And the funny thing is, I'm actually enjoying Dark Knight Returns more as I get older. But I don't think it's quite as good as some other Batman comics, and I wouldn't even put it in the top 10. Or maybe at the bottom of the top 10. But again, that's just me. That's just me. Moving on. I don't care for Thanos. I really don't. I don't see what's so cool about him. I've read some of the stuff that he's in. He feels like a Dark Side ripoff to me who just has an obsession with death. Really creepy, just absolute disgusting obsession with death, but obsession nonetheless. I don't care for Thanos. Marvel needs to reboot its universe. Yeah, the Marvel universe to me feels kind of old, and as much as they try to keep things fresh, they really should reboot it and just clean things up. Hey, that's just me. I know. I tend to like to get things fresh and new every once in a while, but it's just messy. And it's not as new reader friendly as you think. People say it is, but it's not really. I'm very intimidated by some of the titles because I don't know what the hell is going on. Green Arrow's comics should be more like the show, which is something that they're doing. A lot of people are kind of getting up in arms because they're bringing the TV producers or writers in there, and they're bringing Diggle in the show from the show to the comic books, which they did. and they're bringing Felicity from the comic books to the from the TV show to the comic books. And a lot of people are like, well, why are they doing that? But I think it's a great idea. One, the TV show is fantastically popular and really good, and people that watch the TV show might want a piece of the comics. Two is the characters are good characters. Why not transition in the TV show to the comics? They did it with Harley Quinn. They did it with Renee Montoya. Harley Quinn and Renee Montoya are both popular characters in the comics. Harley Quinn more than Renee, but the fact of the matter remains is, why not do it? I like Felicity. I like Diggle. Let's bring them in there, and why not have them line up a little? I mean, Marvel's basically doing it with their movies and their comics. They're trying to line them up and make them very similar to each other. Why not do it with Green Arrow and Arrow? I think it's a good idea. I'm glad Barbara Gordon is Batgirl again. I loved Barbara Gordon as Oracle. She was great. And what she stood for various different comic readers, was a great thing. A strong character who had a disability or a handicap of sorts. And triumphed through it and became one of the most powerful and influential characters in DCU. With that said, respectfully, I love that she's Batgirl again, and I feel as though that's where she belongs. Barbara Gordon being Batgirl is great. It feels nostalgic and it feels comfortable and it feels what it should be for me. Whenever they show TV shows, it's always Barbara Gordon as Batgirl. I've read the Silver Age stuff, and I know Barbara Gordon as Batgirl. I love Cassandra Cain. I love Stephanie Brown, but it's always Barbara Gordon to me. And in addition to that, here's another reason. There is no reason why she should still be in the wheelchair. She lives in a world where magic and technology can do about anything. About anything. So why would she still be in the chair where you can just purple beam her from Themyscira or use magic from Dr. Fate? It's entirely possible to do that. Last is the DC reboot may have not been perfect. The New 52 may have not been perfect, but for the most part, it's what needed to be done for the comic book industry. A lot of people are upset about the New 52 and really want to bring back the old universe. I say nay. You know why? The reboot was a fantastic idea that reinvigorated comic books, and it's something that needed to be done not only for the comic book industry, which all comic book distributors benefited from it, but also for the DC universe. There's just some things that had to be done, and a quick whitewash was important to do. And DC seems to be moving to a crisis of sorts in the comics, where they're going to do a little bit more of a cleanup, which is good. But for the most part, getting rid of the underwears on the outside, updating everyone's origins, mixing things up with relationships and characters. These are all things that should have been done. Mind you, it's not perfect. I would say 80% of DC 52 has been a good idea. 20% of it could have been handled better. But with that said, I think for the most part, it's something that had to be done, and I'm glad DC had the balls to do it. And those are my unpopular comic book opinions. Then we're under the trust tree, the trust DQ tree. So you guys give me your opinions and how unpopular they may be, and I'd be glad to hear them. And then I'll get back to regular videos, and I'll show you my room once it's 100% complete, and we'll go from there. It's good to be back, guys, and thank you very much for your patience and sticking with me during this crisis on Infinite Moves. It's been quite a ride, but I'm glad it's pretty much over. It's just a matter of unpacking stuff now, but for the most part, it's worked out well. Um, oh, I bought Hyrule Warriors and went through that game and went crazy, and I also bought Super Smash Bros. For 3DS. Been going through that game, so been playing a lot of games since I got in here. But yeah, I'm gonna end this video here. I want to hear your unpopular comic book opinions. That said, this is Andrew saying peace out for now.